Hello everybody. I hope you're doing well. I know it's been a while since I've made a UFO video, but it's not because I haven't seen any UFOs. I see them all the time. It's just that I don't have a camera handy, and even if I did have a camera, the ones that I'm going to show you now are usually so fast that videos don't even work because they can't focus on them. So you have to take snapshots, and I was using my brand new camera, which is a Lumix SX70, which for the money is probably the best compact digital camera you can buy. And this has everything you'd want, 4K and all that. So I was upstairs on the second floor observation deck testing it out, and while I was testing it I heard a jet coming, and luckily I had this camera all ready to go and pointing at the sky. Now it's replacing my old Sony 720p, which is actually better quality than the 720. It's almost 1080. It's an exceptional camera, very thin, small, and takes really nice pictures. So I heard a jet coming, and I knew it was one of those Air Force T-38 trainer planes that comes from Mather Air Force Base in southeast Sacramento, and they're very noisy and they're very fast. They're just like missiles, and it was coming right from the north, which on this picture would be to the left here, and they come right at me. Actually, this is on their flight path. Come right at me, and then they swing over to the right and kind of curve left, and then they go. This one probably went south of Sacramento, and then they circle around and land and take off. Well, I saw the jet coming, so I was all ready to go, and I was going to wait until the jet was just before the tree here where I would lose it, and that would be where its closest point too. So I wanted to get the jet right. This picture, the jet is actually behind the tree. And believe it or not, there are 3 egg-shaped UFOs in this photo. Now, they were following the jet. And when I first saw the jet, I saw the 3 objects behind the jet, and I thought they were 3 more jets, but far behind, which I thought was kind of unusual because I never see more than one. They are always alone. And I immediately realized that those weren't jets, that they were a lot closer, and that they were following this jet. So in this picture, just to give you a rough idea where they are, the T-38 is this line here, and it's right about here. I took the photo when I pushed the shutter when it was over here, but it was going so fast that by the time the picture clicked, it was all the way over here, which is better actually because these 3 UFOs are closer now. Okay, so let me get back to the other photo, and I can enlarge this just a little bit here, but I have a lot better enlargements here, but one of them is right here. I don't think you can even, oh, there it is. It looks pretty small. And there's another one off to the left. There it is. It's in the middle. You can barely see it. I'll have a better picture in a minute. So there's that one, and then there's another one down here. And there it is. Here's a T-38 trainer jet. And of course the one I saw was blue. Here's another version of it. And I think I would love to have one of those. So here's the one closest to the tree, and it is actually the best focused photo of these three UFOs. So I'll probably show that one a little bit more, but I'm going to cover all three of them, and I'm just going to scroll through the pictures here, and I've blown a couple of up. You can obviously see that it's got that round egg shape to it. So familiar. I've seen at least 25 of these. And oh, and another thing too is they're also cloaked. And these weren't cloaked, but I know they cloak because I'll explain that in another photo coming up, where I actually saw one appear and disappear. Here it is a little closer. In fact, I think I can even get it a little even bigger just right from there. And that's pretty much usually what they look like. They're just kind of round. They don't have windows. They're all kind of this brassy looking color. They're anti-gravity. They never make any sound. They don't have any lights. And in the photo I just have some arrows here, one up here. Here's the lower one. This one's the most out of focus. The lower one here. That's the lower left one. You can see it really doesn't have that nice shape to it. There it is. Enhanced a little bit. All you can really see is the shadow on the bottom pretty much. Different colors here. Now this is the upper left, probably the second best photo of the three. It's all one photo, but with an automatic focus, it's only going to probably focus on the one up front. And they were actually kind of going really fast too. I'm surprised they even showed on there at all. I thought I had the jet and the three objects, but unfortunately that didn't work out that way. And here's another picture showing all three of them there. Hard to see, it's just showing the proximities. Now this is the one on the far right. It's the best one, and that's about 8x from what we saw before. And it's the closest one too, and this one was right behind the jet. Done some color enhancement here, and they always have that brown or orangish look to them. So whoever's making these things is mass producing them, because these all three were the same exact ones. Here it is, and that's the shape right there. That's what you see by eye. That's probably one of the best enhancements there. Oops. And it's not that I haven't seen these before. Now this was June 9th, 2017. Same one. And this is the one where I think this is the one, yeah, I was taking pictures with another compact digital camera that I had. It was a new Samsung that went belly up, just like all Samsungs, anythings do. And I was just taking pictures of the cloud, seeing how if I could get a sharp picture on it and so on. And there it was. I just looked up and pink, there it was. It just appeared. And so I thought, wow. And so I immediately took a picture. I looked down to take the picture. Then I looked back up, it was still there, and then just as soon as I went to push that shutter button, it just disappeared. So now I know that they're cloaked, and who knows how long it was sitting there. It looked like it was about 300 or 400 feet away. Well, maybe a little more. And I didn't actually see this, but this is a picture of a spaceship sitting in a crater on Pluto. It's a genuine NASA photo taken by the New Horizons spacecraft, but you'll never see it mentioned anywhere, except here, of course. This is a luminous UFO, I guess, but obviously this is a totally different one. It's actually pointed on the top and the bottom. It has a definite top look to it. And this one was a very bright star coming from the northeast, and it flew directly over the top of me. But I couldn't get it going into the east very much because of a huge redwood tree that was right behind me. And this was taken with the Nikon P900 manual focus. If you don't use manual focus, you will never be able to get the shape of these white blobs that everybody gets pictures of. I mean, blobs, you know, they really don't tell you anything except it's a white glob of light. But if you start to use a manual focus, you can actually get the shapes of these things. And this being surrounded by this luminous energy field seems to be a pretty popular way of travel, because it's not just this shape, but other shapes have this same look to them. From the ground, just by eye, it might just look like a round star or something. But this was an exceptionally bright star, and it wasn't moving that fast, so I had plenty of time to zoom in on it. Here's that other same one that I saw back in 2017. It was in that cloud. You can see there's nothing there. Okay. Next second, that same cloud, there it is. And it was just sitting there. It wasn't even moving. That's why the picture is so good. And it was an old 720 Samsung compact digital camera, so too bad I didn't have a better camera, because it wasn't even moving. And it was already focused on the clouds, but it was actually a lot closer than the clouds. That was probably like maybe not even a half a block away. Like I say, these things are small. They look like 1 or 2 seaters. And they were probably sitting there watching me with this camera taking pictures. And then maybe they were just pulling a joke. I don't know. There it is, a little close up there. This is another one that I saw. I didn't get a picture because it was at night, but that yellow disc there formed behind the set of lights that were on the bottom. I couldn't see anything except lights going across the sky. There was 2 of them. And then a disc formed from a pinpoint in the back of it, got big, and then it got small, and as it got small, the entire craft and everything just disappeared. And then I watched the other one do the same exact thing. One of the most fantastic things I've ever seen, except for the V craft that flew over. These were huge, the hundreds of feet long. Probably 300 or 400 feet could be an underestimation. They were huge. I could see on the sides 3D relief designs down the sides of these things, and the front was probably a little bit more blunt than what I have here. They weren't that pointed, but it was blunt enough that you could, they could easily have some kind of windows there. But they didn't have any lights at all. One flew directly over me, and one was like over a few hundred feet and then back a little bit. They came from the north, and they were monstrous. And that happened on a moonlit night. And I'm probably the only one that saw them. They were just cruising along, maybe 60 miles an hour, really low altitude. Totally, well, they were totally quiet, but they did make a slight whirring sound. And there were no lights whatsoever. Back on Pluto. This is another one. I don't see the date on here, but that was probably about 2008. Oh, that was, yeah, about 2018, I think, or 19. That was a double sighting that day. This is one of the multiple ones seen in one day. Another one, not a very good picture. I could play with the contrast and stuff, but it's the basic same eggshell shape. Another one. This one almost looked like it had a row of little lights right across the top of the disc on the edge. This one was going very fast from the right to the left, and that's actually from a video, one frame out of the video. That's how fast they go. That's why you're better off just taking a picture. It was a miracle I got that. Another one. This is the group of about 30 I saw that I couldn't even close my eyes for weeks without seeing these. And those are all individual little ships. And I don't have this quite right. I had to draw this in. It was a circle, probably a little bigger circle here, but it was a perfect circle. And these things were just like they were suspended in there, and they were just slowly rotating, wingtip to wingtip, so they would never touch. So these are packed a little too tight. And didn't seem to be any one of them was bringing them anywhere, and they were just appeared in the sky as puffs of smoke at first, and then they just turned from smoke to this, and I'll show you. That's actually the way I saw it, and those are the trees and everything. If I'd have taken a photo, it would have looked just like this. And I looked up and I saw the little puffs of smoke all over it. And I thought, oh, look at that, what the heck is that? And so I zoomed in with the binoculars, and this is what I basically saw. You could see they had these little headlights almost on them, and they weren't birds. Plain as day in the binoculars, you could see the sun glinting off them, and they were going across the sky from the north directly south, just drifting across the sky. I would say maybe 40 miles an hour. And I did have a camera, but it failed. I couldn't get them focused. It just would not focus. And it was that little Samsung that took that other great picture. So it's another reason why I keep upgrading my cameras. So in the binoculars, this is what I saw. All of these little ribs you see here look like they was like gold trim. They were very fancy. These things looked like they were just custom made and being delivered to Earth. Why else would they just appear in the sky like that and then just slowly drift south? They were going somewhere. I don't know if they knew where they were going. I should have signaled them with my laser pointer and said, hey, bring one down here. I'll take one. I don't think there was even anybody in them. They were just like being delivered or something. The way they just drifted across, staying in this perfect circle, just rotating away in here. And my big mistake was waiting until the last minute to take the picture, because there was a big oak tree, and they went behind the oak tree, and I lost them. But that was one of the big sightings. Unbelievable. That one again. So anyway, you've got to keep those eyes open, and since we have this extra time now to do nothing but watch YouTube videos and look for flying saucers, okay, so back to the 3 egg-shaped craft. When I see a T-38 trainer jet flying through the sky, going full speed, pedal to the metal, probably 400 miles an hour at least, and these 3 apparently anti-gravity, somehow propulsioned craft that I think are utilizing the electromagnetic field of the Earth itself, and I think that's why a lot of them you see going from north to south. For some reason they follow the lines, the field lines. There's a few questions that kind of pop up in my mind, and I've been seeing these things for a long time. Now, why would they be chasing a trainer jet? And are they aliens? And why would they do that? And I've been seeing so many of these things. I've seen a lot of other ships too that were alien, I think, have to be. But what about these? These are like little two-man ships, or maybe one man. They've got the cloaking, they're fast, and these things will really, really go fast. I mean, they go so fast that they can, I think it's about 20,000 miles an hour. From other videos and other sightings of these things and so on. So one has to ask, is this ours or theirs? And that is a training jet. Why wouldn't it be that these three that are following are actually training too, and they're training to keep up with the jet and fly in formation and so on? Because wouldn't these then be part of our space force? And this is the secret wing of NASA, the Black Ops part of NASA, the breakaway society that I've been talking about for years, where they have the tunnels, they have the high-speed underground railways, they have the underground cities, they have the technology, they've got our money, and they have a plan. And I think these are ours. Because I can't think why would aliens just chase planes around like that? It doesn't make any sense, and I've been seeing these for so many years. And so many of them that they must be mass producing these things. Probably under S1 or S2, you know, Area 51 type stuff, and who knows how many bases they have. I know they cloak. I've seen a cloaked, huge cloaked plane fly over me the first time on a Saturday morning, and it had monstrous contrails. It was flying really low, and I thought, oh my God, look at this chemtrailer coming in really low. I mean, we're going to get sprayed. And then I realized, well, wait a minute, those are just two huge contrails coming at me with no plane. And it flew right over me. It was absolutely perfect. I couldn't see a flaw in it at all, except for the two giant contrails. And also, the engines were exceptionally huge. I've heard huge engines before, but not like these. And then as it flew over, I could see the sun blinked, and then there was a shadow on the left contrail, exactly the same shape as if the plane had a large tail fin. So not only was the camouflage perfect, but we know that the sun doesn't penetrate through it. And it does leave shadows on the ground, even though when you look from the ground up at this plane, and it flew right over, it almost blew me out of my chair. I was sitting outside on the observation platform. It's a huge deck up on the second floor. And yeah, I just couldn't believe it. I immediately noticed, okay, it's invisible, and I started looking for flaws. Oh, and by the way, when it was flying away from me going east, I checked the exhaust on the engines, because I thought, well, there's no way they could cover that exhaust, you know, with any kind of plates or anything. But it was absolutely perfect. There was no red glow, nothing. It was totally perfect. And all you could see was the contrails, but there was that shadow on the left one, which was a little clue that. So they know they have the cloaking. That's been down, okay? We don't get to have cloaking because we're not, you know, we're not invited to these, what I call you call anything you want. I call it a breakaway society. And I think Antarctica's got a hand in this too, but that's another video. But it's the perfect place. And I'll bet they don't have coronavirus down there. Now, I'm not saying there aren't aliens. I've seen the alien ships. I've already explained the V-craft, the other ones disappearing. Well, heaven help us if we have ships like that, then everything that you've ever known is a complete lie. So I don't think it's that bad. I think those really were. you know, extraterrestrial. And then you makes you wonder, well, okay, so humans seem to have stolen this technology, or were deals made. But it's starting to look, if you look at the different, how many different types and designs of spaceships there are, of you know, UFOs, whatever, but we know what they are. There must be an awful lot of things going on out there in that galaxy that we don't know about, that I wonder if how many other people do know about it, because I mean, this Earth must be just like another stop on the vacation trip or something, because there's just way too many of them, and they've been coming here for thousands of years, maybe even millions. I mean, we're probably just the newest bug to these people. And these craft have been seen all over Area 51, and given the number of years and how easy it looks to make them, obviously they're like I say, they're mass producing these things. So what's the deal? Are they gonna, you know, have like a fake invasion someday or something to try to stampede the people, or what? Well, if they do, I don't know if these things have shields or what, but they could probably be brought down, I guess, if, you know, they try to make us think we're being attacked. You know, that'd be the knee-jerk reaction, right? But I think you only need to bring one down, take a look at it, and you'll be able to tell if it's ours or theirs, especially if you start seeing made in China all over the inside of it. Now, other than cloaking and extreme speed and agility, I don't think these things have weapons. And I don't think they can go into outer space either. I think they can only use the Earth's magnetic field to operate. And it's probably a situation where weapons and all that stuff, you start adding them in, and maybe they're not allowed to, or maybe it would make it too heavy. You know, whatever. But anyway, they are there, and here's a picture of one, and I've seen just at least 30 or 40 of them in different, you know, different places all over the place. But like I said, the pictures are real hard to get. So this is what you would be looking for. Mostly it's these, but you know, if you're lucky, you'll see some of the more fantastic things. You just have to look. That's all. And then once you start seeing them, then you kind of like know what to look for. And it's not like I sit out there for 10 hours a day looking. This is almost, everything that's happened is almost always random. I may go up there for 5 minutes, and I saw the best ones. I just went up there and had a cigarette before I went to bed, and there it was, right before my very eyes. And you know, 5 minutes. So it just depends. You're just going to be at the right place at the right time, I guess. And one last thing. YouTube really doesn't seem to like me because I'm a useless bandwidth eater. I'm not monetized, and all of my content pretty much is hidden. So, you know, you would think that with 4 billion people in lockdown that YouTube would be a little busier and there'd be a bit more views and stuff. Not that I care, but I just think it's unusual that there still really isn't hardly any views. And I know this has been going on for a long time because I talk too much about UFOs, you know, forbidden subject. That's why I don't have a sensational headline that says 3 egg-shaped UFOs captured chasing the T-38 Air Force trainer jet. So, given the fact that these are seen a lot in the southwest here of the United States, and they all look the same. Some of them are silver, a lot of them look kind of bronzish. They have been captured on some high-speed video, though. I've seen it, and it'll cross a whole valley in about one or 2 seconds, and you see it up on maybe every 4th frame on the video, taking 60 frames per second. Okay, so that's how fast they are. Total maneuverability, stop, go, up, down, you name it. And so aliens just aren't going to come here and start, playing around like that. These were being test driven all over the place. I think it's pretty obvious by now. So there's something to think about. Anyway, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.